These are the Eibach Pro Alignment Camber Adjustment Camber bolts for the 1994 to 2004 Mustangs. These bolts replace your stock bolts and give you some camber adjustment, plus or minus 1.75 degrees of adjustment to be exact. You can run these with or without aftermarket caster camber plates, and you're gonna want to check these out for two major reasons. One, if you've lowered your Mustang and you're looking for a way to get the alignment back within spec without springing for a set of caster camber plates, or two, you could pick these up and run them with caster camber plates to give yourself even more adjustment if you need to. The install will take an hour or two, and I'm gonna call it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, just because there is a little bit of work involved. Just like caster camber plates, camber bolts like these are used to get a car's alignment back within spec after you lowered your car. And depending on how much you're lowering, a lot of times the factory components don't have enough adjustability to get the car's alignment correct again. So caster camber plates and camber bolts are used to help with that. The main thing is that these can be used with or without caster camber plates. A lot of people like to use these instead of caster camber plates because it's a less expensive alternative. These cost just over $25, while caster camber plates are over $100. But these also can be used in conjunction with caster camber plates. Combining these with caster camber plates will just give you more adjustability in case you need it, and depending on what you're setting your car up for. The way a camber bolt works is that it offsets things. So in this case, you're offsetting the strut and the knuckle and therefore changing the camber of the alignment. Camber bolts can both add and remove camber, and in this case, you're looking at an adjustment range of plus or minus 1.75 degrees. And as far as application, these will work on all 94 to 04 Mustangs, so the GT, the V6, Mach 1, Bullet, and the SVT Cobra. When it comes to the install, you can expect to spend 1 to 2 hours getting these on the car, and there'll be a 2 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, just because there is a fair amount of work involved. Some customers just mentioned taking the car to a shop for the install, since the install really needs to be done properly to avoid malfunction, and since the car will need to be aligned after the install anyway. Of course, that's going to be your call. If you're planning on doing this yourself, I can give you an idea of what you're looking at. You'll need to jack the front of the car up in the air and pull the front wheels. Once the wheels are out of the way, you can unbolt the calipers and move them out of the way too. The rotors will need to be removed as well. Then remove the top bolt that holds the strut to the spindle, and loosen or remove the nut from the bottom one, but don't pull the bolt out. The new camber bolt has a cam lobe on it, and depending on what you're trying to correct in the alignment, will dictate how you install this. To correct with the usual negative camber, you want to push the top of the spindle away from the strut. Slide the new bolt into the top bolt hole and rotate it so that it pushes the spindle away from the strut. Align the stamped washer correctly and tap it into place. Next, you'll thread the lock nut onto the bolt. Tighten the lock nut to the torque specs, reinstall the rotor and caliper, and your wheels. After this, the car will just need to be aligned. That's going to wrap things up for the Eibach Pro Alignment Camber Adjustment Camber bolts for the 1994 to 2004 Mustang. But you can check them out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.